Katie is 13 years old. She is amazingly talented. She's just like her mother. Drives me crazy. She is an extrovert. She is brilliant. She's an excellent musician. She doesn't practice enough. I can't get her to practice enough. She plays the trumpet. And tonight is the spring concert for her 8th grade band. Now she's in the 7th grade in the 8th grade band. So she does really well without practicing very much, which motivates her to practice even less. Not practice more, to her trumpet teacher's consternation. Everything comes easy to her. She's smart and talented, and so my job with Katie is to help her understand that this is a gift, and she has a responsibility to treat this gift with sincerity and with attentiveness. To whom much is given, much is required. Now, that's easy for me to say to a 21-year-older. To say it to a 13-year-older, they've got to hear it at different levels in their life.
There is a concert tonight. Katie's playing the trumpet. She plays trumpet just like her older brother, and is playing in what they call the concert band, and plays trumpet, and some days loves it and some days hates it, and I think likes playing but doesn't like practicing. I don't think any kid I know likes practicing their instrument. So tonight we'll go watch. It's her last concert of the season, of the school year. And so I'm glad to be home to be able to go see it.
Every year, the Niagara Foundation of Chicago, a Turkish-American nonprofit working for positive interfaith dialogue, sponsors a journey to Istanbul. The goal is to create a bridge for culture, communication, and commerce across religious differences and prejudiced viewpoints. When Paul was invited to attend as a traveling professor, he couldn't pack his bags fast enough.
when I came back from Turkey, I think what I take away from that is the realness of the influence, how to say this, the realness of the gentleness of those persons who have been influenced by some of the teachings that come out of the Sufi tradition of Islam. Islam is a huge worldwide religion, and so you can't say Muslims, period, because Muslims are here and Muslims are there. They're all over the map. There are some things that all Muslims do, but you don't generalize. The Muslims that I hung out with and visited with in Konya and Istanbul were those that had been influenced by the teachings and the learnings within the Sufi tradition of Islam. And there was such a gentleness and compassion that didn't, on the one hand, surprise me. I knew about it from my academics. But it was like drinking fresh, cool water on a hot day. It was just so refreshing to be treated with warmth and generosity and compassion.
Paul is a very dedicated Christian, but he is also very dedicated just to understanding people of the world in terms of understanding their religions and how that impacts their cultures and their beings and who they are. He is, as you would expect from a professor, he likes to study, and he likes to read, and he likes to discover new things and find new things. And so I think part of the adventures of getting to travel overseas and start exchange programs to India and travel through Turkey and into Jordan and different countries, it really helps bring the perspective of what religion means in our everyday world. And we have such a very narrow focus of what that means living here in the U.S. We know what Christians in the U.S. are like, but we don't necessarily know what they're like and how they interact with other faiths and other religions. So how would I describe Paul? Very devout person of faith.
It's Tuesday, and Paul is in the chapel. Every week, the astute professor makes time to become a student of his pupils. They meet in the campus chapel for prayer, discussion, and fellowship without agendas or titles. They are one with a shared love that crosses any religious ideal, a sacred time in a sacred hall.
The chapel, for me, is a way of building community, a way of developing relationships with students and the chaplain, who is usually there. And in these relationships is where I think the Spirit of God exists as well. Certainly God can commune with us by ourselves, in our rooms, in prayer. But God communes with us also in community. So I think small groups of persons joining in prayer, in fellowship, in singing is important. The student who preached, here you've got a 20-year-old preaching a sermon to her professors. Now, if I weren't there, she would be preaching a sermon to her colleagues, to her peers. Now that's important, and that takes a certain amount of energy.